Welcome, Patriots, to Patriot News Broadcasting. We are here. You are here. It's good to see you all. And we've got Juan with us. Good to see you, Juan.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the gear, I got to admit.
Well, you know, it definitely makes a statement in the crowd.
Yeah. I'll put the links up for where people can find it. My favorite's this Magador keychain. Actually, this thing is awesome.
The one that I really like is
Hmm.
the Megador phone cover. Uh,
Oh
and
yeah.
so I've got a iPhone 15 that I use for other business. And it's got that Megador cover, and I just love that. And then Jen has the one with the hat and boots, the 107 hat and boots that she loves. So, yeah, very fun, very
Well,
fun.
sporting the tie as well, of course. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, and um, it just, especially as things continue to evolve, I think that's going to become more and more popular. Is my personal belief. So anyway, a lot of fun.
yeah, I think it feels to me like we're kind of pushing into overdrive, or we're about to. I know a lot of the election fraud stuff was getting really big in the news until the Epstein files kind of hit.
Well, they're tied together. So
Right.
the one is not exclusive of the other. The players and things that were going on tied to the worthwhile. So just so people realize.
Right. Yeah, it seems like all of this is kind of tied together, really. And I'm curious if you think there's any possibility that we could see Jeffrey Epstein end up testifying against Hillary Clinton.
Well, I don't know that he would be specific testifying against Hillary necessarily. The Clintons are tied to some of the Epstein story, but um, uh, so much be testifying against each other. They just ran in the same crowd.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You were cutting out a little bit there. But yeah, it does
Uh,
feel all tied.
uh,
And I
well,
I suppose
I thought I'd
the
step outside for a minute, but I suppose the connection isn't quite as solid here, so I apologize. I'll step back inside. It's a
uh,
beautiful day here, so
it looks like it. We still got snow on the ground here in Illinois.
well, I'll be there in a couple of days on something, and I was a little bit concerned about doing a drive in the snow, but that's the way it is.
Right. I was also wondering those arrests that took place in Georgia the other day that connected to China and the fentanyl sales. Is that going to possibly go back to the election fraud?
Well, let me just say this: you're going to hear a bunch of stories that ultimately a bunch of them, a big percentage of them, are not true. So you're going to have to check and recheck the various sources on some of this news, even if it says it's some major news company. Uh, I've seen a number of stories where the information that's being put out is not accurate, uh, including especially some of the election stuff and stuff with the, Iran stuff and similar. There's a real concerted effort to confuse um, people with false news stories. So if you get this just happened, that just happened, whatever, um, vet things before you pass them around, even if they look pretty good. There's AI stuff that's being generated. Much of it's out of Pakistan, of all places, and it's being bought and paid for by people here that want to get people like your listeners to lose credibility spreading stories that actually end up to be false. I'll use an example. There was a bunch of stories about Somali immigrants and money buried under the houses and drugs and all sorts of things that were not true. And then by the time people realized that they got conned on a AI, uh, they'd already sent it to friends and relatives and like that. There's another thing that I think even within this community we need to be very, very aware of. There's a bunch of AI generated near-death experience stories. And the people allegedly finally get to Jesus and he tells them this and that and the other thing. And they're not real. And whatever, the story is that's being told, it's not quite real. And so this is the moment where everybody here especially needs to slow down and make sure that any stories you're passing along, good as they might sound, or reinforcing your position of what you always knew, is in fact real. There's a bunch of attempts to con us. So deep breaths, because I want everybody here to retain their viability and credibility within the communities of people around them, their friends and family and stuff like that. So, double check that you've got, say, some of this information from more than one source, and that they're, you know, little tells that you'll see that tell you that that information is AI generated or something doesn't feel right. I expect the people in this audience to become experts at
Yeah,
telling the difference. Does that make sense?
yeah, we go through a ton of news here, but we're always very cautious as far as the validity of the stories, and especially there's always stuff coming out trying to point fingers at Russia. I find it interesting that it's coming out of Pakistan, the two of all places. It's
Well, you're also getting it out of other places, Philippines. These are people that are hiring groups to, they're just getting cheap stuff. They get a lot of it's clickbait for commercials for a lot of it, and they get small amounts of revenue for the commercials that occur during the course of these presentations. But it is becoming profuse with these false stories. And also these things, so and so is dying, so and so's been killed forever, high profile. The stories are completely made up out of whole cloth,
yeah.
clickbait in and like that. So as a community right now, everybody needs to slow down. Part of the thing is
Oh, oh, we lost him. That's never good. We'll see. He'll come back. Yeah. We talk about this all the time here, don't we, guys? About these stories we go through constantly. Oh, there he is.
the big stuff gets here. Okay.
There he is. You cut out for a minute. You're back. Can you hear me?
Am I losing you there? Am I losing you?
Yeah. Now we can hear you.
I apologize. That StreamYard drives me crazy. They require so much bandwidth that nobody uses.
I
And
know.
then it, even if you have perfect connections, unless you're in the studio video on a hard line, for me, unfortunately, that's just not an option. So StreamYard
Yeah.
is so demanding of bandwidth, and the Zoom links tend to work a little bit better, but most of the people like the StreamYard for whatever reason. So anyway, if we get glitching, that's probably their problem. And even, right now I've got full bars, I've got full internet connection, but within the hotel, their internet bandwidth from their server may not be adequate to carry as much as StreamYard's demanding. It's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, we'll have to do Zoom next time. I don't particularly like StreamYard either.
So, well, if there's a setting where you can reduce the needed bandwidth, by 50%, you're not having to do a 4K broadcast, then it'd be fine. Slow down the frame rate a little bit. They've just got the dial set at a level that is, broadcast 4K everything, and then most people aren't watching it in a format where you could even begin to use all of the video data that they're wanting to stream. They're trying to sell the future at the present time, and it's probably not adequate. So,
Right. So there's a lot of comms around the Super Bowl. I kind of heard you talk about it a little bit earlier with Nino, and is that anything to pay attention to, or is that just kind of
well, it's not so much the Super Bowl itself, although they classically have been doing rituals during the halftime. And the rituals are intended to send certain messages and make an imprint on society or the whole world. The whole world this time is going to get a chance to be present. It's going to be the most widely broadcast event in television history, broadcasting to every single country of the world. First time that's occurred. So the ritual at the halftime is going to be probably a bit said. Uh, uh, that's probably not the main event. The main event is that it serves as a hinge moment, not precise significant itself, other than the world is going to be there for that, but far more importantly, that from that point forward, the march is on within the election stuff, the Russia stuff, and even with what President Trump has put in place with this counter offensive, a rededication of America. Uh, that you 3 months time here, I think, to each in a way that but
we're losing you pretty bad. We're cutting out.
and the God in heaven, our God.
Oh, we lost him again. Dang.
Instill a sense of foreboding on America. And then the question is, at that event, who will be present? Who will participate, even remotely, in that rededication? Who wants to be counted before we move forward into the next series of events? And so before and after that May 17th event, I think there is a are you or are you not of the called community? And who will answer that call? That's this moment that's coming.
Interesting. That sounds pretty exciting, actually.
Well, that's why Jen and I have the called coin now, that is, we've been waiting on the mint, and of course all the dramas in silver and everything else, but we should have those first coins going out that people have ordered, um, here very, very shortly. And some people were wondering why I didn't bring down my silver prices during this latest series of events. The reality is that, uh, I expect silver to go radically higher, and virtually none of the dealers are selling real physical silver at these numbers. They're all holding at the higher prices, and I won't be reducing our prices. Probably won't sell much silver over the next. Not changing the pricing at all, and then our stuff is fairly limited, and so but that call coin is the next one in the series, and I think it's maybe our best coin yet personally, other than the Megador. The Megador is probably my ultimate all-time favorite, but the called, that was what President Trump asked for when we all showed up on January 6th, of 2021. And by the way, the movie that Jen and I did, that was released the next day on January 7th, or 107 Day.
Right, I remember that. That movie really changed my life, to be honest, and I think the call is the message. I don't think you could have a better message.
Well, I think there's uh, a divine component to that. We're all called, but many are called, few are chosen. Um, we're all invited to be present, participate. A lot of people don't answer that calling, and miss something amazing that God wants and intends to do with and through. So,
Yeah,
just food for thought.
it's very real. Watching that kind of gave me the energy to do this show, and yeah, I could have missed that call very easy, and we wouldn't be here today. And I'm pretty content with where things are at. I'm pretty excited about the future. I know we've got rough stuff ahead, but I think it's an
Well, let me
exciting
just
moment.
help you out a little bit. Within this community, well, let me just help you out a little bit. Within this community, there should be no misunderstanding. This near-death experience for America, I don't believe has actually happened yet, and it will be very, very, very compelling. And the uh, drama that we will go through as a people are going to be off the charts. So it's not like I'm excited. A lot of people won't make it through some of what's coming. It will be a harrowing, hair-raised moment. It's not all just a party, enjoy the popcorn. And while the effort is to bring as many as possible through intact, um, that doesn't mean that we're all getting through this intact. And so prayerfully, uh, there's some moments that we're all going to have to go through. And I'm not blithe about it. I'm not naive about the severity of the moments just ahead, not just for America, the world. And we've been
Right.
attacked by great evil. And we respond to that with divine um, uh, inspiration of ideals, intent, but understanding that uh, this is a fragile moment. So yeah, I wouldn't be so flippant, relaxed as I think a lot of people are. There's a lot in play,
Right.
souls at stake. And we're going to get the monsters. We're going to go after all of them. We're going to take a lot of them off the. The question is, how thorough will we be in recapturing control ahead? Will the other side has a vote? Okay, the devil and his minions, they will attack back. How much of that happens before, for example, May 17th, as we begin the legal attacks on a lot of these players that captured control of America? And by the way, how much angst is there within even our own community? For example, things like the silver. Uh, if you're
Right.
looking to any physical thing to save you, then you're not. Um, and there's going to be gyrations, some anticipated and many not. Deep breaths, you know, uh, uh, it's just part of the territory, the unexpected and some of the things expected. Deep.
We preach a lot of unity here and just sticking together and staying positive as much as possible. I know what you mean
Mhm.
about the anxiety out there in the community, and
Well, and part of
some
the point is that you cannot be part of the problem by up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. That can't happen.
right,
The people around us are already either you that there's a storm, there's going to be um, unexpected things, uh, traumas. Okay, well, deep breaths, and then let's work the problem. Let's work through it. And we're here for the rest of the community. It's not just about us and how we're going to do. It's about us within our families, our workplace, our environment, that we are the divinely anchored, stable connection in these things. And you may not have a history that way over your life in time. In our it will be because you're able to be anchored, grounded, stable, while everything else is being tossed through to and fro. And how are you going to pull that off? Scripture. Have a few verses that are your you know core, that you understand. It's not just a mantra where you know whatever, and you repeat the word and you rattle the beads and everything else. No, you have a couple scriptures that you know that Um, God does not let his word return void, that uh, he's never going to change. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And so if you've anchored yourself in some of that understanding, you're on in the way America is going to get hit within the context of the storm, and the way the rest of the world is going to get hit, even over the next weeks and months, is such that the world will be looking to us to see how we react, what we say, how we deal with various issues. And of all audiences out there, your audience should be the stable one, okay? Or aspire to be, even if you've all got your own struggles. This is the moment for greatness where you are more than just the sum of the parts that got you here. God somewhere shows up in the midst of your being, and you become the person that God always intended. This is your chance to gird up, be strong, be the person that God intends you to be. Is that? I mean, it's a little bit ethereal and fluffy, but we have the relaxed moment to talk about this right now. And I'm just telling you, after the Super Bowl, immediately thereafter, I think we begin to see these first huge buffets. We fly a lot. Jen and I have to fly a lot. And we were coming back from Europe the other day, and the plane hit some really, really heavy turbulence. And as heavy as those carts are that they were aisle, the gal was trying to plane when they expected, and then says everybody be seated and put the carts away, whatever. And I saw the wheels of that cart come off the floor about 4 inches. And I was like, now that's a bump. Okay. And it was a bump. Jen grabs my hand and wants to hold on, I was like, well, it's just part of flying. But I think we're going to have one of those kind of moments here shortly after the Super Bowl, and everybody's going to realize going to be here. It's going to. Does that click for you? Did I lose you?
No, I'm here. Absolutely. I really like that message. A lot of us here, we're kind of alone or on our own in things. We don't have family that sort of agree with what we agree with, and that's sort of what brings us all together here. Um, and I agree with you. After the Super Bowl, it feels like that time, and I don't know exactly what it will entail. I know people keep talking about a EBS. I don't. Oh, we lost him. Oh, give it a second. He'll come back. I do agree with them about that time period. I don't know. It just feels like something's about to shift. Um, Not even entirely sure how to describe it. Oh, okay. He's gonna relocate and see if we can get a better signal. Um, it does sound a little scary almost, doesn't it, guys? Whatever's to come. Yeah, EAS, EBS, EAS. I always said EAS, but people still say EBS so much. It's been almost 20 years since that changed, but um and I don't know what that actually entails. Some people say there'll be more than one EBS event or EAS event that happens. But again, that's just talk. It's sort of like Juan said. There's so much talk, and we look at a ton of it every day. And I don't know if it does us better to have an idea of what people are saying, or if it does us worse or confuses us worse. I hope it doesn't. I think it's good kind of to take a look at all this stuff, but sometimes it gives us uh, different ideas about what could happen that drift off. And then when those things don't happen, we feel like, oh, we're let down, or, um, and it really shouldn't be that way. We just have to swallow everything happening right now, and just understand it's for the greater good. And there's amazing things happening. And I do think it's important to stick together. I wish I knew more about this scare event or what it would entail. Um, Again, like other things, I've heard different hosts say different things, earth disasters and things. I don't know. I don't know what that entails, but I know Juan himself has talked a lot about the different cities and some unrest in the cities, and perhaps that'll be a little more fierce than we um, give credence to. Yeah, it's pretty wild, isn't it? I know I'm always very stay positive, guys. Rock and roll, stay positive, but he's very right about the time we're coming up to. And I think when he says you're called or you're not, or you'll miss your calling, part of that I see is you know you sort of have to put aside your past and decide here and now what kind of person you're going to be the rest of your life. Are you going to be about the greater good and doing what's right no matter the cost, no matter what's waved in front of you? Or I know the situations of old people getting bribed, and there's no there's no gray area when it comes to good and evil, in my opinion. I think people would like there to be a gray area when it comes to good and evil, but I don't think there is. I don't believe there is. And I think that's the choice that people sort of have to make with what's coming and everything that follows, because the choices we make now as a society are going to affect the future of society, the kind of society your grandkids are going to live in, the kind of society that their children are going to grow up in. That's very dependent upon you in this moment, and how we choose to react to what's coming and choose to um, do in our lives. Yeah, maybe exciting wasn't the right word. I'm always somewhat excited about the future. He's having puppy nightmares, doggy nightmares. My dogs, love my dogs, but it it takes a level of faith that I think a lot of you understand. We've talked about faith here a lot. A lot of you are over in Gideon's army too, and hear a lot about what Jerry has to say about it. And you're really good people, and I'm confident you'll make the right choice. Here we go. Welcome back, Juan.
Yeah, we'll try maybe a little different spot here and see if I get a better connection. It's just painful to have those interruptions like that.
Yeah, I understand. Sound
So,
pretty good now.
all right. Well, and I love your 2020 jacket there. 2020, it's not over yet.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, you might notice I don't have my boots on, so I sent them out to get polished. And uh, uh, we had to leave before they got them done. And I didn't have another set of boots with me. So, I've been bootless for a few days as we travel. And it's actually a little bit painful because my feet are having to readjust to not having the boots on. We were over in the sunshine in Hawaii, enjoyed that. It's not quite so bad, but then again, I get to wiggle my toes in the sand. So anyway,
Yeah. I wish we had some warm weather about now. I'm kind of a barefoot person in the warm weather, I guess, but
hmm. Well, Super Bowl is a key hinge moment. Everybody needs to understand it. It's like a timing marker. And I
does it
think
does
things
it
take
have
on a different acceleration immediately thereafter. It's the coincidence of the timing of the year um, and coming up on the 2026 election. President Trump understands we cannot have a stolen election in 2026. It cannot be allowed to happen. And so many of the things that need to be done have to be done well in advance of that. And there's going to be a national emergency declared related to elections. That's going to cause extreme trauma in many places. And you have to picture a lot of the people that have gotten into power through various types of election manipulation and fraud. From that point forward, they will not be able to hold office, to keep and retain office. And so that's a existential moment for them. For many, it will result in arrests and going to prison. So the fight from this moment forward intensifies radically. And imagine when Elijah had this moment up on the mountaintop, the test between Moloch, Baal, goes by 1,000 names, the devil, Lucifer, uh, the green man, okay, uh, uh, and the people of God, the people who this nation was given to in a covenant all the way back to the Pilgrims, long before there was a constitution. And a lot of people want to live in denial of that, by the way. President Trump isn't living in denial of it. He's commemorating it on May 17th, a rededication of America to God and his purposes, divine purposes. Uh, the devil has this crew, as I mentioned a few minutes ago over at Gideon's, that literally these are Satan worshipers in the election system, Satan worshipers as um, presidential candidates and in high office, people given over to the purposes of the devil himself in the financial community and uh, legal community. As we come against them with honest elections and honest money, which are two top priorities, President Trump, the number one and number two most important things he intends to get done during his time in public office. You think the devil doesn't strike back? You think he just sits there and takes it? Of course not. Or his minions. So I expect great pushback in ways that are hard to anticipate. Will it be with some type of 9/11-ish type event, Pearl Harbor type event? What could it look like? COVID 3.0 or something like that. We don't know, even though we may have some inklings, we don't know exactly what that actually is going to look like and what measures President Trump and others will take to counter it. This great chess game. We don't know the exact timing. There may be people after the fact come back, oh, yeah, I knew this was going to happen. I told you that was going to happen, blah, blah, blah. Now, maybe you knew, maybe you didn't. From our standpoint as a community, we should not be surprised by any of it as it happens. And in fact, should be anticipating that there's going to be great drama ahead. Whatever it is, that's what it is. And we work through it and stay focused and look for divine assistance for ourselves to get through it, but also for grace, divine grace to be part of the solution in the conversations with the people around us, with our actions, to kind of steady everything as people grab onto the gunwales of the boat to hold on for dear life as we go through these next moments. We'll be fine, especially as a community, because, we should not be surprised there's drama ahead, and it was expected. You can see there's a wave coming. Hold on tight.
Right.
Okay.
So it sort of sounds like, I hear people all the time saying, talking about the emergency alert system. To me, it sounds like there's not really anything planned or set in motion in that regard. It's just sort of anything can happen.
No, I don't think that's true. I think that there is something specific that is planned, intended. It's even on a schedule. And the reason that it has to be played is because at its core, and there'll be lots of layers to this, in order to take complete control of the continuity in government features, the real play in the United States and across the world is the play between senior executive service, which claims continuity of government authority and control, as a group which was put in place during Jimmy Carter in 1978, and the NORAD system, which controls nuclear and beyond, and which Trump never handed over control of, never agreed that Biden won the election, and therefore never handed over the reins of. There's a hard reset that has to happen within those authorities, and it only happens in the context of a missile alert of some type of attack on the U.S., where exclusive sole authority goes over to NORAD and away from SES. It's a hard thing to quantify for people and explain. You got to be in a certain world to understand it, but that particular event is a very
Makes sense, though.
it's
To
a
take
very
away their
intricate,
power.
precise thing. It's not just politicians doing it. It's all in the computers, the way that they're designed. And those authorities and information flows from the federal and military computer systems transfer automatically only under very exactingly precise conditions. And when President Trump declared the national emergency March 13th of 2020 over COVID, and then closed up Cheyenne Mountain on March 15th, it locked all the codes in place. And The test that had been done prior to that was when Hawaii had this missile alert. And everybody in Hawaii thought for 60 minutes that they were under international intercontinental nuclear attack with missiles flying to Hawaii. And that was announced out through the cell system and like that with the sirens blowing. That was a test for what has to happen to America. How many missiles hit Hawaii that day? Do you know?
0.
Right. Up to a point. Let me correct you. How many missiles exploded in Hawaii or over Hawaii that day? None. Was there a missile in flight? The system is actually designed not to be spoofed.
Right.
There's
So,
lots of safeties in there so that you can't pretend something happened or it won't do what needs to be done. And when the system was detecting a missile headed for Hawaii, it scrammed and began downloading all data, military and federal, back to the servers in the mainland within the NORAD system, including the codes. See, if you had secure or special access projects, SAP projects, where maybe only one person or a half a dozen people know about the project and have the codes to be able to access the information to add to it or reference it. When you have this type of an alert and all the data is scrammed back to the mainland to protect it because it thinks it's all going to be destroyed by a missile strike, when that happens, the access codes are sent with it so that, let's say, the spy, the general, the admiral, the spy chief who put it together, if they're dead, how would I know the code to go in and look at their information if I needed to reference it? So when it's sent under these exactingly precise conditions back to the mainland, to the NORAD system, it's sent with the access codes. It defeats certain safeties so that you get access to everything that's there. And by the way, there was a lot of mischief going on in Hawaii prior to that missile alert. When Trump sealed up Cheyenne Mountain on the 15th of March, he also sealed the codes. They could not be altered, modified, changed retroactively. And so everything was locked in place from that point forward. So when the system does alert at some point here for some cause, some reason, which is probably some type of a missile attack on America, all of those codes and the material underneath them will be scrammed across America and across the world potentially back to the mainframes in secure positions in central U.S. Within the NORAD system. And from that point, we'll have access to everything, even things that others thought were hidden. And but that hasn't happened yet. And so I believe that something is still coming that will be excruciatingly grave at some point for the country, a near-death experience. Beyond that, the cell system has been weaponized. We're in danger. All of those cell towers can be used as a weapon. And so that has to be reset. And those communications nodes have to be reset for our safety. And that's not a one-day thing necessarily. So the potential to be hacked and then be used as a weapon is a big deal. With interference signals, they can boil a gallon of water at a quarter mile. Well, you're a great big pot of water. Right. And they can be targeted at you individually. So there's things that have to be done there that are actually very precise, specific things that must be done to protect the American people. It's not squishy. It's not ethereal. It's not, fluffy. I don't know. I think something might happen. It could be, I don't know. We'll find out. No, there are specific things that this administration intends to do to protect the American people. And there's certain hard events that trigger things to occur so that we're safe moving forward. The concept of 10 days of darkness, yeah. And what would be the context in which that's done? It also has to do with disclosure of what these people have been up to in their move to take over or control the whole earth, these globalista. So it will be gripping. But if you know that it's coming and you're a little bit prepared, then as gripping as it is, you also have the assurance and the knowledge that this isn't the end of the world. It's not the end of everything. While others are losing their minds about you, you can have some resilience, some strength, and prayerfully, deep breaths. As we get through that moment when your credit card doesn't work at the bank machine or the gas station or any place else. Okay,
it's
take
genius,
a deep breath,
though.
chill out.
It's a genius. That's pretty genius plan, really. I mean, it's some complicated stuff, but the way you put it there, that's it's probably the best I've heard it described yet, actually.
The intent here is we're saving the whole world without a war. We're saving the whole world without a civil war. There will be civil unrest. There will be pockets of insanity.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to keep our wits when others around us aren't. And being real. And knowing that this was all gamed out intricately, very precisely, very purposefully for our protection, to own this moment, to recapture control of the world. Deep breaths and prayer. It's like any great contest. Sports teams come to a point and engage, and it's the best of this group and the best of that group, and finally you're down to the top two in the world, and all the world gets to watch. If the outcome was known in advance, and many will tell you that this is how the game's going to go, this is who's going to win, this is how many points spread it's going to be, this player's going to be crucial, that player's going to be, whatever. Injuries happen. Unexpected takes place. Till it's actually played through, as much as you might think you know how the outcome's going to be, maybe you don't. And by the way, just for everybody's point of reference, for about 38 years now, this will be my 39th, I have accurately predicted the winner of the Super Bowl every single year, and I haven't missed one so far.
Nice.
Okay? I have never once been wrong on who was going to win the Super Bowl. Now, I can tell you right now who's going to win the Super Bowl this year. You want to go place your bets. This is probably a good time to go do it. I haven't said it this year anywhere, but the winner of the Super Bowl this year is going to be the owners of the teams, the club, okay? Because they're the true winners. Doesn't matter who wins on the field, they win in the way that's the most important. Two things. The visible winners are the owners who get money out of having a spectacle and the whole season come up to this moment in time. all the advertisers and things like that. The
Right.
second winner, but bigger. And the reason these spectacles are done, just like the Olympics and other things that are a worldwide spectacle, is the devil himself. What has happened with the Super Bowl, what has happened with the Olympics, is you have a cult, a group that is vying for and working towards global dominance. They're a cult. The globalists want a new world order, and they want to send messages to everyone. So when they have these spectacles, they have the opening and closing ceremonies at the Olympics, and the whole world shows up. And they believe, just like the devil himself understands, he has to tell you what he's going to do before he does it, or the bad karma is on him. He has to present himself to the whole world and tell you what he's going to do. And so they put it in imagery in these halftime shows, in these opening and closing ceremonies, these global spectacles. And I would contend you wouldn't even have a Super Bowl if you didn't have a halftime, in the way that these people think it's an excuse to do their global imprint of their symbology, their way of thinking, telegraphing their plans for what they hope and intend to do. The devil himself in the details. They'll do it again this year. But then, this is why it's the hinge moment in many ways for the devil's plan. Now you're going to have several months of the response to that, with the arrests, with exposure, all sorts of spectacles in between, and then this rededication that President Trump's going to do, uh, uh, orchestrating from the National Mall in Washington, D.C., and the people showing up in this Elijah moment and choosing whom we will serve, rededicating the soul of America, the people of America, the resources of America, America itself, to God's purposes, God's will. And remember, on top of that mountain where Elijah went and had an altar to God in heaven made, he didn't pick the temple down in town in Jerusalem. He didn't pick some intermediate point. He went right to the gates of hell, where they had been offering children as sacrifices, where Baal and Moloch were strongest, where the priest felt the most comfortable, their high, holy, sacred ground. And there Elijah built an altar right next to the devil's altar. They did their cutting, their weeping, their screaming, their ranting, their horrific spectacle to get the devil himself to show up and light their sacrifice on fire. And the devil didn't show up. The devil was hiding somewhere under a rock. And then Elijah was ready to go. Had him put water on the sacrifice several times. Why? Because the bad guys had probably put pyrotechnics in their stack and it didn't work. They were pissed off because their magic act didn't work, and they accused Elijah of doing what they themselves had done. Oh, you got sparklers and fireworks inside the fire thing. Oh, really? Okay, well, get some water, put it on there and douse it. Put some more water on it and douse it. Put some more water on it and douse it. They were in a drought. They were in the midst of a drought, and they were throwing water on a sacrifice. They were in the midst of a drought. Who went to go get the water? The priests of Baal. They were carrying the water for Elijah's people. Okay. All sweaty, cut up, blood draining off them because they've been doing that all day. you guys want to make sure it's not going to light up. Okay, well, you guarantee it's wet enough. And then he calls on God to accept the sacrifice he and his priests accompanying gave to God in heaven. And as a result of that consuming fire taking sacrifice during this drought, the people realized the scales fell from their eyes, if you will, that they'd been being conned by the high priests of Moloch and Baal and Lucifer himself, and had been sacrificing their own children to this false god. And they turned on all the priests of Baal and Moloch and killed them, every one. Okay? They were so livid. They were so pissed off. We're coming into an environment where when people realize the thefts of elections and control of us, the people, through magic, uh, through frauds, people are going to be so livid, so upset, and in fighting back, not just for control of America, but for control of countries around the world. Remember, the people who are testifying before grand juries right now have stated clearly that they were involved in election fraud in 71 countries plus the United States, over half the world, living, breathing, working, their money being spent by people who are Satan worshipers in large measure. Think about that.
Yeah, it's insane. People are gonna have a hard time grasping it till it kicks them right in the face, I think.
hmm So, I've got appointments I got to do yet this afternoon. I got to go get ready for. But any other
Right.
quick questions I can answer for your audience before we wrap it up?
I was curious if Trump's gonna wait to sign the executive order regarding the elections till like right up until the midterms.
Oh no, no prayer,
No.
no. Um, the the things that have to happen, um, there'll no doubt be unexpected dramas along the course of it. He did say over 2 months ago that he was getting ready to sign the executive order in days. Um, but, that's been 2 months ago. The executive order is about how the elections are run. The emergency order is the context in which this happens. A national emergency exists. We were attacked by foreign powers, other countries, through their intelligence services, through the vote manipulation, through the machines, with assistance by traitors from within our own government, within our own intelligence agencies, the corporate world, etc., election workers. But it was an attack on America at the nation state level. And by the way, an attack on the vote by international law is the same as a nuclear attack. It's a weapon of mass destruction. So you're taking control of a whole country, and it has the ability to kill and destroy. Millions are dead just because Joe Biden occupied the office for a period of time. Why? Because if you just look at one conflict alone, Ukraine,
Right.
it's unlikely that anything would have started there. President Trump would have headed it off before it ever got started, um, if he was president. And he'd have, continued to work something out or kept it from blowing into an actual all-out, full-blown war. But unlikely it would have happened. With Biden in there, you got 3 million dead, 5 million diaspora out across the world or more. Um, uh, Ukraine will not be rebuilt in our lifetime, even with unbelievable amounts of money spent there. let alone all the lives lost forever in this world. So um, that's kind of an important thing. By the way, it just started snowing here in Tokyo moments ago.
Oh,
We
wow.
knew it was coming, but it's just started. So
That's
little
awesome.
teeny snowflakes out there. You can see them coming down. So I expect a nice white neighborhood here in a few hours. So,
Japan looks really beautiful.
oh yeah, it's one of my favorite places. All the way back to work I did here in the '80s. It's one of my favorite places to be. The Japanese people, I enjoy tremendously. Of course, my wife is half Japanese. She was born in the U.S. Family's been in the U.S. since the 1800s. But that also shows how close um, America is to the Japanese people. It's amazing. We fought a war. We were conned into fighting a war against each other. So,
Right. Yeah. Good people.
so
Wow.
anything else before I bow out?
Not that I can think of. It's been pretty amazing conversation. I really appreciate how you laid it out here. I think everybody needs to think on that and maybe re-listen to it and
Yep.
I think that's the best I've heard you lay it out in my time. So it's really awesome. I really appreciate it.
Well, let me say a quick prayer for your audience. Father God, I thank you for everyone here. We know that there's a lot of detail and minutia that, you know, even when we hear it a couple of times, a few times, it's hard to keep track of all of it. But I pray that the important parts that apply to each person here will be remembered as needed by each person here. That you will work your will in the lives of all those present here in the moments just ahead. Give each person here the presence of mind, the strength of emotion and will to go through these moments with style, finesse. Um, Give them clarity of mind and purpose within their own contacts, the family, the business associates, the friends. Uh, make them the head, each and every one here, and not the tail in the things that are about to happen. And give them a spirit of grace for those that may not have understood to this point in time or may not ever fully understand to work with and deal with the people around them for good, to bring all of us through this in a way that we can take some pleasure in out into the future, that we did so because of your presence in our life, Father God, by your Son, that without you giving us some sense of understanding, foreknowledge, peace about the things coming, that we would not be able to. And we thank you for President Trump and the advisors that you've given him who are looking to you. We thank you for the um, part of the plan, the design, the intent to have a national rededication to your purposes, Father God. And we ask you that um, you would make provision for every person that you want there to actually be there physically. And for those that can't be there physically, that you would make perfect provision for all of us to participate fully in this rededication of America to your purposes, your way, according to your will. We thank you for letting us live at this moment in history within our own family lines and to represent your purposes within even our own families at this hinge moment in time for all the beautiful things He will do out beyond this generation and generations to come from this moment that we're about to go through. And we thank You for Your strength, Your provision, Your peace, which passes all understanding in the moments to come. We look to You for that supply, according to Your will, Father God, in Jesus' name. Amen.
No, that was awesome. It was beautiful, Juan. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much again for coming on. And
Yeah, absolutely. And glad you have a place for us to do it there, Jack. And I hope people will prayerfully be thinking about what's about to go on and seeking God's will for their place in these events to come, what God would do with them, how He would use them for His purposes. Be a tool in the hands of God. Boy, what more could you ask for?
right.
So,
Absolutely. Amen.
all right, folks, I gotta fly, but I look forward to talking again soon. And everybody, keep the faith.
Yeah, we hope to see you again soon, Juan. Thanks again. God
All
bless
right,
you.
all right, all right. Night, folks.
Good night. All right, Patriots. You still hear me? There we go. Wow. That was amazing. I really, really urge you guys to consider listening to that again if there was a lot there. And that I've been listening to Juan for a very long time, and that explanation there, that was a good explanation of what's to come and how it'll come and why. The why. He really put some amazing information into why certain things have to happen, and uh, I really have an understanding of what he was saying better than I think I've ever allowed it to happen, because I'm always, we're always listening to this outside stuff, and it does affect us at a certain point every day when we're kind of bobbing back and forth and guessing who's gonna do what, why. I mean, that was really good right there. It made more sense to me than probably anything else I've heard that does so far. Um, no, I'm not a hat guy. I don't have the ears for a hat, Chris. Um, I've never been a hat guy. Actually, most of my life I had pretty long hair, and my dad was completely bald on top by the time he was in his mid-20s. I'm lucky I have any hair, really. But um, not a hat guy. I'm not a glasses guy either. I really miss my contacts, but it's amazing to see how many people we've got here tonight. You really should, if you're new here, consider subscribing. We care a lot about staying positive here, sticking together, and having this place as a place to come to and discuss this stuff, to get a breather. And we've got one of the most amazing chats I've ever seen on YouTube. We're very family oriented. I'm always talking with everybody in the chat, so it gives you lots of opportunities to talk with me and discuss everything with everybody. And um, I think it's really a fun place here. So I do hope you come back if you're new, and definitely hope to see Juan again in the near future. Yeah, it's definitely not my style, Chris. But on the other hand, I do love this hat. I I love that hat. I love the keychain too. It's a really well made keychain. Some keychains are made really cheap and they kind of fall apart in your pocket, you know. This Magador keychain, it's made nice. It's a nice keychain. Yeah, you know, actually, I'll put that up again just for you guys. If you want to go on his website and look at this stuff, there's allpatriots.gumroad.com. I copied that straight from the site. And then, of course, there is Jennifer's channel, thejennifermac.com. Also pulled that straight from the site. So either of those you go to, you could check out the coins he talked about, which sound really awesome now. I think about it. They sound pretty amazing. Um, all the other stuff I'm wearing, the Magador tie, the keychains, the jacket, the postcards. Man, the postcards are amazing too. I kind of put them up on my walls. You can kind of see behind me. 2020, it's not over yet. The Called, the Magador over here. Uh, Kid by the side of the road, Melania in the dress, the Storm cover, Japanese cover, Kid by the side of the road. Great stuff. And the postcards are made really nice too if you're a postcard person. So those are the websites. Check them out. I hate to use the word exciting again after that conversation because it's hard to put any kind of emotion on what's probably to come. It's probably going to be dramatic for some, and I guess it all depends on how well you've listened throughout this time period. That was such a great interview. I was kind of glad we waited till after Jerry so we had a little more time together. Um, Fascinating. We'll talk about this stuff again tomorrow, but I have such a better understanding now of why they have to do things a certain way. The missiles, the continuity of government, the computers. He went in some great detail there. Um, you guys should be excited. I always considered myself a fast learner. And of all the things I've learned in my life, this stuff, this time period, it's taken me a while to get to this point now where I feel like I know enough and understand enough that I'm comfortable about it, that I'm not upset to where the emotions control you. I feel very ready. I think ready's the word I feel. I feel ready for it. Um, this is our time. This is our moment. I suppose most people live through their lives never, never thinking about this kind of moment, and yet so many gave their lives to make this moment happen, knowing they would never live to see it through. And that's the kind of people we need to be now, right? The kind of people that put it all out there on the line, knowing they would never see the payoff. That's honorable. That's what it means to be a good person, doing something for the greater good and not for yourself, not for a selfish reason. Very amazing. What's the difference between the presidential alert and the EBS? Really, I don't think much of anything. I suppose a presidential alert could go out for something that's technically maybe not an emergency. I can't think of any real reason they would use it. Maybe after an emergency is called, you might get a presidential message instructing you what to do next, type of thing. Maybe the two go together. It's kind of new to me too. I mean, we didn't, growing up, we didn't have cell phones. The weather. You remember how you used to know if the storm was coming? You'd be watching TV, and that little W would pop up in the corner of your TV screen. Oh, there's a warning. There's a warning. That little W would pop up. Network TV's about done for. I imagine there'll be a day when we see it go. Yeah, I don't know. There does sound like there could be something interesting that happens with the Super Bowl. What if another country threatened to blow up the Super Bowl or threatened to, or something like that, or they had to evacuate, or I don't know. And there would have to be a missile in the air, like Juan said. I don't want to speculate too much because I don't want to throw us off course, or I don't want to take away from what he said, which is why we're probably going to wrap up here in a minute. We might wait till tomorrow to check out those other interviews. And you guys, if you want to watch, should definitely check out those other interviews. Of course, Juan was just on with Jerry right before me at Gideon's Army. You should check that out and definitely subscribe. If you want to, for me, it's about starting the day off right. When I wake up in the morning, I'm usually kind of down. I'm not thinking the best mood. Watching Jerry in the mornings so great to have that pick me up of faith and everything. I really enjoy it. So you guys might too. You should consider it. Um, yeah, it might be a good reason why Trump's not going to the Super Bowl. Um, I forgot what I was saying. My mom, she's doing a little better. She still can't get over this cough, which is kind of weird for her. She usually gets over stuff a lot quicker. Um, oh, what was I gonna say? What I was asking there at the end was about, yeah, the executive order. I forgot we did talk about that. Um, you know, mandating no mail-in ballots and one day vote, whatever. I had theorized that he might wait till closer to the midterms so they didn't have time to argue it or something, but maybe it's better get it done ASAP. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to theorize. I don't want to take away from everything we just talked about and confuse anyone. Like always, we'll continue to follow along with Juan and the message. The other interviews on the day, of course, Sheila was on with WTQ and Bill Quinn on YouTube. Ricardo Bozy was on this evening with Captain Kyle Patriots. And before that, he was on a new channel never seen before. See if I can find it so I can tell you guys about it. It's always cool to find new channels. Chris, if you're still watching, I'm really sorry I couldn't play your video. I really wanted to play it. I might just have to just play it from the web. I don't know why it wouldn't let me download it. It was a really good video. You should keep doing that, man. That's exactly what we need in the world. Um, you make them, and if any of you else make videos, let me know. I will add them to our intro and stuff. It's it's a great thing to do. Even if you can change one mind in this mess, you're doing something. All right, here's the channel that Bozy was on yesterday. It's called The Maestro, and it's on Rumble. Let me put up a link for you guys. All right, link there in the chat. And that was another channel on Rumble that Ricardo Bozy was on. So always love to listen to what Ricardo Bozy has to say too. I think he's a really good, decent man from everything I gather. Juan's a really good and decent man, and I really appreciate him taking the time to come on here. And I think what we're doing right now all around is extremely important to changing the message, and it's growing. It's growing. You see it every day. It's only a matter of time. That may be the best thing I can say. I went the whole interview without hitting my tobacco pipe. You guys should be proud of me. Didn't want to do that. Where are you living at now, William? You're living up north, right? You told me. Was it Montana? That was a great interview, wasn't it, Shanna? And a good amount of people here tonight too. I know I'm rambling on, everyone. Normally, I do a show. If you're new here, I do a show every night. We go over the news in our own way and comms and what other patriots are saying, and we just sort of discuss it. We don't take anything to heart or whatever. We just look at it and discuss it together, and um, it's elementary, my dear. Yeah, no, it's important to be respectful. Um, Great show. It was an amazing interview. I think that's one of Juan's best interviews. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here and I'm wearing the tie and all. Where do we find who at, Carol? Juan? Juan, you can find all of his videos basically at Juan Savin Presentations. The whole library, like hundreds of his videos, are over on Rumble. They're starting to get the library onto YouTube slowly. So if you want to look back at old episodes, you're better off going to 107 Presentations at Rumble, but they're also getting put up here on YouTube and starting to get that YouTube presence back. And yeah, it's great. And it's really great that we can say these things here on YouTube. It's a big part to me about not being monetized. We're not, it shocks any of you newbies here. We're not monetized. You won't have to watch any commercials during my videos or interviews. I think it's important for a lot of reasons. Honestly, I don't think I could honestly bring myself to allow the commercials that YouTube broadcasts on my broadcasts. More shields. I don't know if I can give shields out from here. This is not the same control room as from when I'm on YouTube. And yes, everybody gets a wrench / shield now. I find that important too because it allows you guys to moderate yourselves, which very rarely has to be done. So everybody's very respectful here. For the most part, almost always. Once in a while, we get some issues, but other than that, it's fairly nice. I would like to say slow day, but stuff when Benghazi's probably going to be very big in the future, I'm betting. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview tonight, and I hope it lifted you up a bit and give you a good explanation of every, of some things. And share it, please. You're very welcome to share it. Wherever you want. People need to hear these messages. Facebook's giving you nude ads. I swear, every time I turn on YouTube now, I suddenly hear about some woman's husband's erectile dysfunction, and I don't want that crap on my videos. I can't. Some of the stuff they do here and broadcast here is bad. It's terrible and it's scams. Some of it's very scamish. So don't buy anything from YouTube commercials. I would recommend that. Not recommend it, I guess. So, yeah. Yeah, I can't pull the hats off. I love you guys. I hope you have a good night. I will be back tomorrow. I apologize that I don't have a rockin' outro. I think I have one video I found I can play on the way out just for fun. We also, if you're new here, we listen to a lot of music, and I know it's kind of back and forth, but what people think of the music, but it's mainly just meant to lift people up. Trying to think of, I thought I seen something I wanted to mention. Congress is going to receive unredacted versions of the Epstein files so they can look at them themselves. There was one other thing here. What was it? It came up. Hang on. It was Tucker Carlson and Ian Carroll talking about something. I think, hang on. I'll just bring it up.
The end of that line, and he is getting into the actual human trafficking side of it, the blackmailing side of it. Money launderers are the node that all criminal networks have to flow through. Money laundering is the network, the node that because it's not just like money laundering for criminal stuff. It's also if a billionaire wants to shelter their taxes or wants to pay less in taxes. And you can read the reporting about how Jeffrey Epstein referred Bill Gates and Sergey Brin and Benjamin Netanyahu and Larry Summers to JP Morgan for banking services. He referred a bunch of the wealthiest, most powerful people in the world to JP Morgan for banking services, right? Which is completely nonsensical if you take it at face value. But when you realize that that's like how when you're in high school and you need to like know the guy that knows the weed dealer in order to get into like, you know, the back door. It's like you need that trust network in a criminal space because criminals have to operate on trust. And so that it's like, you know, a guy that knows a guy to get you in the back door for the back door of the banking system is what that looks like to me. And who would know that better than Jeffrey Epstein? And so there's this false narrative that we don't know.
Okay. Shorter than I thought. Well, it's getting late. We'll look at all that again tomorrow and revisit everything. And what's the hat say? It's Junior, and that's the MAGA cubed. Election equals corn to the third, fourth power over, or sorry, election equals MAGA cubed over corn. Gosh, I'm getting tired, aren't I? That's Juan's thing from his dream, and it's in his book in Kid by the Side of the Road. So, and if you haven't read it, you really should. It's a great book, and the audiobook's online if you check it out that way too. And again, one more time, I will show off both the websites where you can find stuff like the book, Kid by the Side of the Road, allpatriots.gumroad.com, and thejennifermac.com. Check them both out. I'm going to play this goofy outro song and head out. And I will see all of you, my loving friends, tomorrow evening. Thank you so much for being here. Please share this and consider, you know, I like the hat. A few of you sent me hats. I love the hats you guys send me. I got great hats, ties, and things. Awesome stuff, and I really, really appreciate it. I'm not sure if I'd want to wear that one, Ichido. It's almost like a collector's item, I think. It's pretty cool. I mean, this is too. These are awesome. So, love you guys. I'll be on tomorrow night, like always. We'll look at everything, catch up on everything, and discuss the episode. Please share this with a friend. Put it out there. I think this would be a great interview for people to see. So, love ya. God bless ya. Have a good